Hello everyone, if you're looking for a Darkrai Ex deck, well, you've come to the right place. I've created what I believe to be one of the best decks for Darkrai Ex that there is in the game. You're going to absolutely love this deck. It's so overpowered, so difficult to stop, and it's very easy to use. For those of you who don't know me, my name is J-Day, and I have the record for the most wins, currently over 2,500 wins, and I am aiming to be the first to hit 10,000 wins and get that trophy. So let's go ahead and get into this deck here. Like I said, it's very easy to use and it's very hard to stop. So let's get right into it. I'm not one of those creators who are going to make you guys wait to the end of the video or whatever. We're going to get straight into what you need for this deck. So first we have 2 Froakies, we have 2 Frogadiers, and we have 2 Green Ninjas. These are not new. We all know what these cards do. They're considered the snipers. So we need those cards. They're very important. You get to hit for 20 damage each turn for each of those. Next, we have 2 Drudgeons, also important as well. You guys can see where this is going. We have a Sneasel, we have a Weevil X, and we have only 1 Darkrai X. Now, let's get into some of the items we're going to need. We're going to need 2 Pokeballs for this deck, 1 Giant Cape, 1 Rocky Helmet, 2 Professor Researchers, 1 Sabrina, 1 Leaf, 1 Dawn. This deck is very powerful. If you're experienced, then go no further than here. You can go ahead and jump into this deck and come back and let me know what you think about it. One thing I will mention is check the energy. Before you guys make this deck, please be sure to check the energy, because when you make it, fire and water will be equipped when you make this deck because of the Drudgeons. So make sure that you check the energy and take off fire and water. All we need is darkness for this deck, and you're good to go. For those of you who want to see how this deck works, we'll go ahead and get into some battles here. All right, let's see what we've got. For this deck, it doesn't really matter if you go first or second. It's very easy to use, very simple. So we'll be going second here. And we have our Darkrai Ex, the only Pokemon we can use. So yep, we'll go ahead and start out. And let's see how this works, see what we can get here. Looks like we're going against fighting type Pokemon. All right, so he's getting set up here. We pretty much are gonna know what we're looking at. Gonna be looking at fighting a couple of Lucarios. So let's use our Professor Research, see what we get here. 2 Froakies, that's not bad. And a Sneasel. All right, so we can definitely make this work. So we'll go ahead and get set up here. Darkrai Ex is just very powerful. It's every time you add a dark energy to the Darkrai, you do 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That is huge. It is very huge, especially for what we're doing here. Got a Frogadier, perfect. That lets us get into our first evolution. And we'll go ahead and upgrade and get our Weevil X going here as well. And as you can see, over these 2 turns, we've already done 40 damage to our opponent's active Pokemon without even using an attack yet. So Darkrai he's huge. He is very, very powerful. We've been needing something like this for the Darkness deck because the Darkness has been weak up until now. Now this Darkness the decks are very much up to par with some of the Grass decks and Fire decks. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more people using these Darkness decks. I certainly will be, as this has become one of my favorites. We got our second Frogadier with that pull, so let's go ahead and get into our second evolution here. We're going to retreat our Darkrai X and go ahead and lead the way with Weevil X. We'll use our Rocky Helmet as well. Weevil is pretty powerful as well. He does 30 damage to an opponent's Pokemon that doesn't have any damage to it. But if your opponent's Pokemon has damage to it, then Weevil does 70 damage. So he's pretty useful, especially when going against certain type of decks. Like if you're going against a Psychic deck, obviously Darkness is their weakness. So this deck is a little bit even more powerful should you run into a Mewtwo or anyone who's using a Mew X deck. All right, so we pulled a Greninja and a Dredgen. However, we don't have space for the Dredgen right now, so we'll go ahead and let's get our Greninja set up. Start working on this second evolution of our Greninja. So then, as you can see, Darkrai, we added energy to it. It does the 20 damage. We now have one of our snipers set up to do another additional 20 damage. And now Weevil will do 70 damage as well. So once you get to this stage, you know, you're able to do over 100 damage per turn. Right just then we did 110 damage. We already have 1 points made. So now we just need 2 more. Our opponent, at this point, he's kind of stressed because he can see this is not going to go well for him. Let's see what he does here, though. See if we can pull out this win. Leech Life gives him his health back. We sacrificed our Weevil here, which is fine. Nothing too serious there because we've already worked our rotation up to where we really can't be stopped at this point. I don't see it. I mean, it's possible we still lose. Anything is possible, as we know this is all RNG, a random numbers game. However, there's a lot of skill that goes into creating the decks, and that's what we're doing here. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we give that energy to our Darkrai to hit him for 20. We'll use our Water Shuriken to hit him for another 20. And then we'll use this Frogadier to go ahead and get our second point and be well on our way to victory here. I'll go ahead and use this cape because why not? So with the Pokemon he has set up currently, we know that he's not really going to be able to attack us for 100, which is what he would need to be able to clear out that last point for him. So let's see, if he brings up the Lucario, that's fine with us. We know we'll be able to hit him for 120 for whatever our next turn is. So whatever he does here doesn't too much bother us. And we got our last Greninja, just not that it was needed, but it's nice to have. So we'll go ahead and show what this deck would look like, how we would have it set up. It would look like this with the Dredgen up front, Darkrai in the back, and 2 Greninjas set up, sniping in the background. So as you can see, both of us at this point have used all of our cards. We don't even have any cards left in our hands. So I'm going to go ahead and start sniping his back line just in case anything happens. I know for sure we'll be able to get that last skill point we need, or the last hit point we need, sorry, to go ahead and win the game here with this deck. All right, he pulled another Lucario, so he will be able to hit us for a little bit more health. However, still not too concerned. Now, that is kind of concerning. So let's see here. Right on time. So this is why you put the leaf in the deck. Had it not been for this perfect timing for this perfect leaf pull, we actually would have lost this round. However, timing is everything. So with the leaf, we'll be able to go ahead and pull our Dredgen out. However, I'm just going to show you guys really fast how much you would hit for with your deck set up like this. So we're putting that energy on the Darkrai, you would hit for 20. If you have both of these Greninjas in the back, they both hit for 20. So that's 60 altogether. And then that's before the attack. So we go ahead and use Leaf, pull that Drudgeon back, and then use our Darkrai for the actual attack, which would be 80. So out of that, just that one turn, we hit for 140 points. So you can kind of see where this deck would just be overpowered as far as every turn you have, you will be dealing some damage. So let's see if we can get into one more battle here, just to maybe show a different way that the cards can be pulled, because obviously, you know, it's all RNG, so you might have some cards that are pulled. You might not pull your Darkrai at all, you know, so this deck actually, there's 100 different ways that it works out. So let's see what we can get into here, see if it's a little bit more difficult, so to speak. That last game wasn't too difficult, wasn't too scary until the end. Let's see if we have an opponent who kind of knows what he's doing a little bit better here. So this time we get to pull our Drudgeon first. So if we pull Drudgeon first, that's fine. We actually will put him up there first. He's who you would need the Rocky Helmet for. When you have the Drudgeon there, if you add that Rocky Helmet to him, it just makes it that much better. So we pulled Darkrai again, which is fine with us. We have a Froakie. We'll go ahead and get it set up here. Going against what appears to be some sort of water deck. This might be, let's see, water and electric. Yeah, this might be a Dragonite deck. And it is. So that's interesting. This will be a good test for a Darkrai deck here, because as you know, Dragonite does not just attack your active or Pokemon. It spreads 200 damage over all of your Pokemon. So this will be a good test for us. We actually just pulled a perfect rotation. So we'll go ahead and get set up here, Frogadier, and we'll have our Greninja for our next go around. Add that energy to the Darkrai, does that 20 damage to his active Pokemon, which he's not going to try to attack anyway. Most people who have that Dragonite deck, they always try to build the Dragonite in the back, because you have to. There's not too much attacking they do. They do a lot of defense. You need 4 energy to pull out that Dragonite. So for us, we're going to go ahead and try to attack fast, try to keep him. I mean, we're obviously not going to be able to keep him from building that Dragonite. That's always very difficult to do. However, we are going to try to keep his health as low as possible. We're going to continue to try to hit every chance we get. So we see we have our second Drudgeon. I'm not going to play it just yet, because we might get our Greninja evolution first. However, playing both Drudgeons at the same time is not a bad idea, because the opponent might have a Sabrina. So that's why you use 2 Drudgeons. When you do have both of them, feel free to play them both at the same time, because if your opponent pulls out a Sabrina, you just switch Drudgeons and you continue to snipe. So that's what we're going to do here. See, we will put that Rocky Helmet on that first Drudgeon just in case he does happen to attack, which is not likely. But when he does get his Dragonite going, which will probably be next turn because he does already have it, when he does use it, we'll be able to hit him for 40. For him touching that Drudgeon will be 20, and that Rocket Helmet will be 20 as well. So from here, we just continue our assault, continue to snipe, continue to hit every turn, and we'll see exactly how this plays out with that Dragonite now into play with all 4. So we also put that second Drudgeon down to kind of give us some more leeway with this Dragonite. So let's see here. Okay, so one of our Drudgeons is gone. However, we were able to deal 40 damage in retaliation. So, works for us. Let's see where we go from here. Okay, so we're not going to be able to retreat just yet. So we'll see if he'll be able to get it off a second time. We're going to have to go ahead and try to survive this second hit. Continue to snipe, continue to hitting for 40 every turn. And we're just going to have to play the numbers game here and see what exactly he does. I'm going to use this Sabrina just so he's forced to use a energy to retreat, because I don't think that last card is a leaf card. So that's why I use that Sabrina. Sometimes we got to play a little bit of chess. I don't want him building up any extra energy in the background. So I'm going to play Sabrina there, force him to use that energy so that I know if we survive this, he will actually die more than likely with that Dragonite. And then they will kneel. Okay, so barely survived, as you can see. But we'll take it. We were able to take out that Dragonite as well. He's now in a position where he needs 2 energies for both of these Pokemons to attack. So even though our health is low here, we're still looking good. So let's see where we go from here. We'll continue to attack. Use that energy. Hitting for 20 there. Use this Greninja, hitting for 20 there. And then go ahead and kill that Pokemon before it gets a chance to even set up. And from here, there's nothing really he can do. I mean, he needs 2 energies to be able to attack us, so we're not in any type of threats. It would be wise for him to just go ahead and concede right here. We'll see if he does. If not, we'll go ahead and end it this next turn. Okay, so he made a last-minute play with this Drudgeon, which doesn't really matter. I mean, it would hit us for 40, which we wouldn't be able to attack. However, that's where this Giant Cape comes into play. So we could end it this round. I just want to see here, because we haven't seen Sneasel come out at all. Sneasel or Weevil. Well, all right, so we'll go ahead and continue. Put our energy there. We'll use the Water Shuriken here. We'll end it next turn. So as you can see, this game we didn't really need the Sneasel or the Weevil to come out like we did that last game. So it just kind of goes to show you, you don't need any of these, particularly one Pokemon with this deck. You know, you can make it work with any of them. Any of the combination, this deck is just a killer. And there's not much your opponent can do. Here, Dragonite, I mean, there's always a chance that Dragonite does whatever Dragonite does, you know. But even then, almost every deck, this is OP. I don't know how many wins I went on. I'm probably on like a 20-game win streak with this deck. I took my time with this one. I don't just drop content just to try to be the first one to drop it. No, I really take my time to build these decks and make them work. You know, every Pokemon needs to be able to work. Every card that you pull needs to be able to be used. So many people make decks with just 2 or 3 Pokemon that they want, and then they spend the entire time trying to pull it out of the deck. But you have to understand there's 20 cards in the deck. So as you can see here, my Sneasel and my Weevil were all the way at the end of the deck. You know, you can't rely on just any one Pokemon. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and end the video here. We'll use this Giant Cape. That'll be able to protect us up to 60, and then we'll use Greninja just to show you how this would work. As you should know by now, it's like clockwork. This deck is just very, very difficult to stop. So even though our Pokemon were all very low health and almost dead here, a win is a win. So for everybody, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to go try this deck out. Come back in the comments. Let me know if you like it or not, or let me know what changes you've made to it. If there's any type of decks that you want me to try out, or you want me to build a Pokemon around, just hit me in the comment section. See you guys next time.